Hey guys, it's Zach, and welcome to my computer. um, no, really, what I wanted to do, and I've been trying to do this for a while, is I want to show you guys how I do my designing because I think mine is slightly unique and not really. It's just a little bit different than everybody else's, and I thought it'd be kind of cool to kind of just get a different perspective on things. So what you're seeing here is the latest version of Mac OS X, and my primary, I guess, editor for doing design work is Affinity Designer, and it's an inexpensive program, and what you can produce out of it is vectored designs. So when you're trying to do things for the CNC or 3D printing, t-shirts, anything out there, you pretty much want to make sure that it's vectorized. So let's start with something that is not vectorized, and I will show you kind of how I go through my process of making it vectorized and then taking it to a next level so that we can actually make it something for the CNC. So this logo here is actually a logo that my aunt uses for her actual company. And so what I want to do is recreate this in a vectored way. Now, because this black outline is kind of unique, that it's not, the same thickness, then I'm going to have to draw the inside and the outside. So let me go ahead and do that now. Okay, so once we have the outer outline, you kind of see I went ahead and made it red, and that just allows me to see it easier. And then it's kind of rough. It's not perfect, and that's okay because we can actually tweak that in a minute here. The next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and draw this inner paw print, and then we will remove the background, and then we can kind of tweak this the settings overall. Okay, so we have the general kind of shape of this. And I use the pen tool the whole time to do this, and it just creates, you see here on the right hand side, it creates all these different curves. So I'm going to remove the background, and that's basically what we have drawn so far. And if I go back to I don't know, the node tool, I guess, you can click on each one of these nodes that you've already created and kind of just smooth them out as you see fit. Okay, I'm happy with that overall. So what we can do now is we'll grab all these inner paws, and up here we'll click on the add button, and what that does is going to add all these curves into one curve. So if we click that, you can see it's now changed. It basically collapsed all those into one. And what I'll do is I'll remove the outline, and then we'll just make it black. All right, so now we have a shape in the center, and we can do the same thing here, but we're not going to add. If you see here, what add does is it removes the inner side. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to subtract the inside from the outside. All right, so what that's going to do is give us just the outlines that we wanted. So there you go. So that gives you an inside and outside view. Okay, so now this is vectorized. We can make it whatever size we want, which is the beautiful thing about this. And I'll show you the difference. So if I zoom in, you see how sharp those lines are? So if we open up this and we turn off that, look what happens when we zoom into the original image. So it doesn't allow us to resize things. So with it being vectorized, we can resize it. So let's go up here to our document, and let's change this to inches. And yeah, so we were at 3 inches. So let's bump this up to an 18 by 18 design. And then we can just scale this to a full 18 inches here. All right. and then you can just snap it to the center. So there we go. We got an 18-inch, a sign, basically, if you want to turn this into a sign for the CNC work. So let's think about something real quick on what we might want to do with this. Let's get a little fancy with it, and let's actually make this into, let's say, a candy dish or something along those lines. So if we were to do that, let's think about, what size we want that candy dish. I'm thinking off the top of my head, maybe 6 inches by 6 inches would be a good size. Well, let's go up to 8-inch candy dish. Yeah, I think that will work. So now if we take this and we can actually go ahead and change our document to 8 by 8, and that is completely my fault there. There we go. Perfect. Now with a candy dish, we have sidewalls. So if we're looking from the top down, we have the sidewalls, which we'll use this kind of really cool organic shape for the sidewalls. Then we're going to have the floor and then a actual cutout. So what we can do with this curve here is we can actually divide it back up. You can see it kind of covered everything, and the reason for that is it's just a different color. So if we just make it, let's just make it a pink or something like that. So this will be our actual floor, and then this will be the outer cutout. And then the pawl, we'll just do like a little, I don't know, in mill kind of inlay kind of area for that. So I think that's terrific. So let's save this out. And for now, I'm just going to just drop it in my design as doggy camp works for me. Now, before I make this ready, and this is where it becomes really important. Before I make this ready for the CNC, I have to export it out as a PDF. All right, and you make sure you don't include the pixels. So let's export this guy out, and we'll go back into our design here, and we'll save that off. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to Parallels, which is the app that I use to to switch over to Windows. You could, obviously if you have another computer that works as well, but I happen to use Parallels. Okay, perfect. So once I open up VCarve, I can click over here to my design and I can open up that PDF. Now there's something that you'll notice that happens right away in VCarve, and that is because it tries to collapse it down to your exact size. In this case, I had it, I guess, currently 7.999. So we're just going to go ahead and make that 8 by 8. And let's go, we do not want to use offset. This will ruin your day if you don't understand what that's doing, and I always turn that off. And then for our thickness, let's just go with 1 inch thick piece of stock, and then bottom left. All right, perfect. So now that we've got this design in here, and this is, because it's vectorized, we can still resize it and tweak it if we choose to. But all we want to do now is actually make it so that we can cut out the piece of wood. So in fact, let's make this a little bit easier on ourselves, and we'll make this 10 by 10. There we go. And then F9 will center you in the center, which makes it much easier for you. All right, cool. So if we're 1 inch thick, let's bring this guy down so that it is a 1/4 inch from the top. So we're going to create a toolpath here. We're going to create a pocket toolpath. And we're going to bring him down 0.75, and we will use, of course, 1/4 inch, 1/8 inch end mill. And let's see what that does. So if we switch this over to wood and run that, okay, so once that's done, we'll have a pocket in here. So there's your pocket. And then we will go back here and we're going to do a cutout. Of course, we're going to go a full 1 inch deep here using the same tool. And we're going to cut to the outside. So we'll calculate that. Run that bad boy. All right, perfect. So now we got ourselves a dish, but I want to do something with this paw print. So what we'll do is we'll grab this, we'll do another pocket, but we're going to start this at 0.75 because that's where our last, I guess, bottom of the cut was. And then we'll just go, let's do 0.0625. So just barely enough to make an imprint there. And let's preview that guy. So there you go. So now we got ourselves a nice little candy dish with a paw print in the middle. How about that? Now from here you could, save off your tool paths. In my case, I save it for an Axiom CNC, so I can save those off. And let's see, doggy camp, and go downstairs and actually run this on the CNC. So hopefully, this was fairly quick, but hopefully that kind of gives you an idea of how I go through the process of taking somebody's design that's not vectorized. I vectorize it, export it out so that I can use it with VCarve. And then in VCarve, I kind of see the final result of what I want to, what it's going to look like on the CNC before I export it out. And this is just one way of doing this. And not everybody has an Affinity, but you could do the same kind of operations with something like Illustrator, or I think even Inkscape or something like that. Anything that produces vectorized, logos or designs you could use. But anyways, I just wanted to kind of show you guys this. I appreciate you stopping by. Thanks for watching. And if you got any questions, always leave you can always leave a comment down below. So thanks for watching, folks, and I will see you next time.